be aware of all these elements, all of these little variables, all these little math numbers that are running at you.
Reasons, but I'm still, for me, it's I want FY.
Guts?
My gut says Liquid. Like,
does it?
They're run. This 9-0 run.
No, I get it. I get it.
It just feels like everything is clicking for them. To me, they're in the lower bracket is like what OG is in the winning bracket, where it just feels like nothing's going to stop them.
Yeah.
And then those two teams could match up in the grand finals, and it's going to be like, I don't know how that goes down, but
that would be TI7 winners versus TI8 winners.
Oh man, and I'd say Liquid. I mean, they're undefeated. How do you go against a team who hasn't lost a game on the main stage? Like, that's numbers.
No. But in Dota, though, you often think the other way. The longer the streak goes on, the more likely it is that it'll be broken, don't you? Because it's rare teams win like 2-0. Most Dota tournaments, the big ones anyway, it's 2-1 because of the way that the flow and drafts and everything else works.
I agree, and I think the biggest thing is I honestly do, like, before we got into these last couple days, I thought OG and Psg.Lgd were way above everyone else. Like, sure, like Secret, EG, they're good and all that, but these teams look so dominant in the winner's bracket, and then slowly Liquid was creeping up. So I think it is very even, but I just can't bet against undefeated.
Okay, Cap, you asked the question. Where's your bet?
I'm leaning with LGD here. Sorry, say OG. I'm leaning with LGD here, actually. You know, just something about, like, as Grant said, they had such dominant performances in the upper bracket. I can forgive the Alchemist. You know, you lose to it twice, it's whatever. Shake it off. You see if you could beat it. You can't. Okay, you learned something about it. Now you're gonna go clean up Liquid real quick in the lower bracket and get your rematch against OG.
Okay. So you think this is a PPD play against CDEC? It's exactly what Peter did in the upper bracket final. Gave him what he wanted to see if he could beat it. Figured he couldn't. Got that information ready for the final. You think that's the PSG way?
Better to get that information now than being 2-0 in the grand finals, right?
Yes.
Or 0-2.
yeah. Being 2-0 in the final would be quite a good thing. I'd be quite happy with that. And in terms of the approach the Liquid take to this, as God said earlier, they're quite chilled, I guess, because they've done so well. But is it not? Does that not change the closer you get? Because you kind of go, oh, we didn't really expect to be here. Now we're only one game. Does that not come into your brain a bit?
It's every team. You get further than your expectations, you're still disappointed. RNG talked about it. They just didn't want to get past the best of ones. They didn't want to get bottom 4. And in their exit interview, they still said, yeah, we went past that, but we're still disappointed even without top 8. Secret yesterday, they got 4th place. That's the best team Secret's ever done in TI. And still, you know, they're not happy with that. I don't think any of these two teams playing here are going to be happy with a loss. You always want to go one step further. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no, 3rd place is not where you want to finish at TI, that's for sure, because you want to play in the last game. OG sit here, they're quite happy right now. Chilling, watching these two teams. They've already said they quite like a crack at Liquid in the final. But I don't think they're disappointed if they get PSG. They've got their number right now.
Yeah, I'm sure, like, especially because we will say it, after game 1, when OG won, they did get booed a little bit. I mean, then when they came back out, they saw, they're like, wait, this is helping them, I think. You know, no tail throwing out the hearts over and over. Like, no one can really boo OG. Yeah, it's so hard, and they're just sitting back, and they do not care who they play. Sure, they might want Liquid, but they're like, we're gonna beat whoever we see.
Seb with the call out.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I can't hear you anymore, crowd. I'm
It's like
sorry,
the most lovable team in Dota getting booed.
Oh,
I loved it. I'm a big
Me
OG
too.
fan because they've got Nausea on their team, but seeing them get booed by this crowd because they want to see LGD win, that felt like being in a sports arena.
It did, right?
It was
and I know
amazing.
there's been some criticism online. I've seen it. I've had plenty of it on my own timeline. Thank you very much, and I don't want any more. But it is kind of legitimizes it in some ways. You know, if you ever go to a Barcelona game and they're playing another team at Barcelona, guess who they boo? They boo the other team.
Yep.
It's not disrespectful.
Doesn't matter.
It's just the opponents for the day. It's like 90 minutes of rivalry. You're my enemy for 90 minutes. Afterwards, we're fine, right? And it's the same here. All the Chinese people that we've been around are super friendly, super helpful, super nice. They're all massive Dota fans, but in particular, they want to root for their hometown team. I don't see anything wrong with that.
You
They
can't blame
care.
them.
They love Dota, and they care, and
They
they
do.
love their teams.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, they do. But they've also supported plenty of the players as well.
Yeah.
They've all got their favourites.
Yep.
And Anna is massive out here.
Yeah.
The fandom that Jack was explaining it to me the other day. He is absolutely huge in China.
They welcomed Liquid in this series with applause. A shout out to any of the Western viewers who have come over into this.
Yeah.
We actually just saw it on the Chinese stream. There was a couple from Finland who is just in the crowd shot, and he's just a sea of LGD shirts,
Two Jerax
flags,
fans all the
LGD is
way.
invincible, everything.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's one of the best parts of TI for me in the past has been the hardcore Chinese contingent that always came over to watch the games.
Absolutely.
Right? And they would all back themselves behind the Chinese casters, and they would be a little bit quieter, but the volume they came out from that section whenever the Chinese teams were playing, that was just amazing. They were able to rival the Western audience in so many ways, and now they vastly outnumber the very few foreign audience that is here. But
Yeah. So it's a very much an international event, as we said earlier on. 37 different languages taking the feeds over this main event. A week of 6 days of competition here at the International 2019, and plenty of different ways to watch, including binoculars. It seems
nice.
nice. Love the tablet memes. They're always out there as well. I like the LED signs as well. You know, the scrolling LEDs, they're quite fun because you can pretty much do anything you want out there as well. Great to see the crowd having a little bit of fun. I hope you're having fun at home as well, wherever you're tuned in from. I know it's been a challenging time in terms of time zones, but you know what? You've been spoiled because the previous 8 time zones have been fine. You can forgive one, I'm sure. And we're obviously moving towards our first draft of the day between these two teams. Looking ahead a little bit as well, we've already mentioned OG. They're chilling out right now, no problem at all. Strategically speaking, who have been the stronger of these three? Because OG, it feels like they're running on memes or something, or fuel of some kind that's nothing to do with the actual Dota.
Rainbows and flowers.
Exactly,
and power
right?
of friendship.
Absolutely, right? It does seem a bit out there with stuff that they do. But in terms of strategic, who's been the strongest of the three?
I would say Psg.Lgd. They're just a very strategically sound team. You know, their coach 357 brings a ton of experience and strategy to the table. They're just a very formulaic team in a lot of ways, and they've, to me, were ahead in a lot of those OG games. They lost that series, but it wasn't because they got outdrafted.
Right. That's
Just,
almost that's a rival back to last year's fight. It felt like they won 4 of the 5 games, and yet they lost 3-2.
Yeah, that was something crazy about that series and the upper bracket finals. I just remember constantly thinking like, oh, LGD has this, and then, you know, just a little bit of impatience. We saw it in the upper bracket finals here yesterday as well, where LGD was ahead, and certain decisions like around the Roshan pit, where they chose to contest Roshan despite knowing the fact that they couldn't really do it. They end up giving up Roshan and the Aegis, and they give away 3 heroes as well. Like, maybe you can give up the Rosh, maybe you could take the fight, but you can't lose both, right? And that just was such a blow that it just ended game 2 almost immediately.
I'm actually a little bit opposite of Gods. I feel like Liquid has shown, I know LGD, their drafts are a little more stable, but I've seen Liquid, they've pulled out more strategies. They've shown, like, if you ban this, we'll play this. And I feel like people haven't really pushed Psg.Lgd out of their comfort zone yet. And Liquid, they've been all out of their comfort zone with the Wisp getting banned. They can pick it up if it's not. I feel like they just have a little more diversity in their pool, and maybe it won't come into play. Maybe Psg.Lgd will just get that tied, and then they're going to play, and they could just win.
It's interesting, actually, when you look at the heroes picked. OG are right in the middle. They're in the middle band. PSG are right at the bottom in terms of the amount of heroes. They've had 38 heroes played at this event, which is third lowest. 57 for Team Liquid.
That's pretty crazy, and it really does go to show.
I mean, I think it proves Grant's point, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure, as always. Our first game just moments away, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to head to our draft panel and introduce you to the lower bracket final.
Psg.Lgd versus Team Liquid. Game 1.
Folks, before we even start talking about this series, before we even start talking about the draft, I think we just look at this TI as a whole. We look at some of the things that already happened because so much history has already been etched into those clay tablets, those tomes of Dota history, and you have an entire region having their highest placing of all time. You have your longest losers bracket run. The question is, what else are we going to see? Are we going to see a two-time champ? Are we going to see a back-to-back champ? This series is going to shine a lot of light onto that. Because first of all, how long is this losers bracket run going to be able to go?
Seriously, not just a run, but undefeated. Talk about a royal road. This is a different type. Imagine, like, we talk about Secret, losing yesterday to the same team, Liquid, 3 years in a row. What's crazy is that Kuro, he's been in this sort of position before as well, but as a winner. To win TI7, they went through the loser bracket. They ended up with a 3-0 in the grand final. Like, they just killed it. They've got to be building in confidence, you'd imagine, as they progress.
Dota's a game that's so easy strategically to drop one draft, to like mess up one time in a crucial moment. And to be 9-0 even in the group stage would be insane. And they're 9-0 at the main event, taking game, like series from teams like Secret. These aren't 9-0 runs against the middle class teams of TI.
Yeah, they are on an absolute tear. I think there are a lot of heroes for anybody who is just tuning in for Championship Sunday, maybe hasn't gotten to take a look at groups or what's happened here thus far at the main event. There are definitely some heroes that we think about instantly. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be one who's going to be talking too much about what we expect in the draft panel, but I know that Alchemist is good.
I was like, do I need to throw it to that? Because you'd probably know that, Alka's probably what you need. I don't want to see that hero at all today.
Yeah.
It's just one of those, we don't even need to talk about it.
Well, I feel like one of the other heroes that we haven't been talking about as much recently that I feel really is kind of in that tier in a lot of ways, though, is the Enchantress, too. Do you think that we could be seeing some Ench today, Kyle?
It's possible. I think of all the power heroes in the meta, that's the one that's most solved. It was super popular as well during Liquid's TI7 run, but more importantly, it's not the same in the sense that it's a lane dominator, and the impetus, as you said, it's gone, but Liquid first picked Tiny.
Okay, so last series against OG, LGD had first pick and banned IO. So people have been talking about that they can play IO, but the fact that IO's been mainly played as a core in the deciding games, LGD hasn't proved that they can do that. It doesn't really seem like Ame's style, and I think Liquid's almost saying, calling the bluff. We picked Tiny, one of the most sought out heroes this meta as well. Are you going to be willing to pick IO in such an important game?
I don't think so, because after the change with the Ags to Ally going from 15 to level 20, the IO Gyro of Psg.Lgd, that was their bread and butter, and it's just not that same power level anymore, but as a core, that's when it starts to look sick. Elder Titan, arguably the best support on the patch.
Best laning hero in the entire game. The one change I didn't know about that Fog just couldn't stop talking about is that a Spirit gives you armor. Yeah. And strength heroes in lane that have innate ways of getting armor, you just trade so well. The hero's still the same. Suddenly you give him 7 armor when a Spirit comes back to him, and you can't trade at all.
Plus a ton of damage, move speed. It's just, it's not balanced in the laning phase, and that's the same opener they used yesterday, isn't it?
Yeah, Tiny Void, one of the most broken combos right now with the new Ag Scepter on Tiny. You could dump in, what, like 2,000 AoE damage into a Chrono mid to late game, and the only weakness of Tiny's Ags is that people can get out of it. There's really no, other than a select few abilities in all of Dota, there's nothing that moves people out of Chrono, and that's what makes Void just so potent to be able to pick this early.
And if there were abilities that did so, they'd be supports for the most part. The Vengeful Spirit as an example. You can't really choose that anymore as Psg.Lgd. You'd have a very one-dimensional 3-hero core, and what, you're going to run like a mid Rubik or something? We've seen it in the past, but you're most likely just going to have to make do with Rubik ET as your 4-5.
Overall, stylistically, I think a lot of the analysts have been saying when you look at LGD, you said that this is a team that's playing textbook Dota at the highest level, right? Like, they don't need to come out with any cheese necessarily. They're going to just be able to do what you would expect a team to do, but they do it the best. Do we expect to see that in this draft?
Absolutely, but you need this execution level in the late game. They're going to need some way to make team fights simple for them. Maybe some reliable way to shut down the Void from getting his chrono off. Because if that chrono goes off, whoever's in it is going to die. And that just makes the game, like, you're operating on such pins and needles.
And we saw Liquid do something similar with the Wyvern last pick yesterday, where they were playing up against this mag, this high physical damage lineup, but they had that trump card, the just combo break that would deal with the huge AoE ultimate. So in this scenario, I think it's Psg.Lgd you've got to look for something like that. And unfortunately, again, it's the supports. They already have them selected. So unless they want to do something unconventional, you're in a rough spot. And I love the bans from Liquid. They take out arguably the two best strength-based initiators that are mid and maybe comfort heroes. It would be an excellent counter to the Void. You tank through the chrono, as you said. You can't really, you have to stay inside of it. Yeah. So you need survivability.
Yeah, and also Kunkka, the X, is really good against Void's escape mechanism. So it's almost this dual. Like, you have the initiation factor that shuts down the Void from those two heroes, and also, like you said, if you get them in the chrono, it doesn't necessarily mean they die.
Right, eating ships, not going to be a worry now that they get that out of the way. What do you expect to see? What holes need to be filled here, Kyle?
That's a tough question, Rich. They take out the Lion. This is the turn, probably the most important part of a draft from the second pick position, because last pick usually have a lot of time remaining. You know what hole you're looking to fill in your draft. Whereas here, you have so many different ways to go because there's heroes you might want, but now, as an example, you take Centaur, you've revealed that this is your offlaner, you've got the support combination, there isn't much role versatility remaining. They're going to look to just save their course for the last two picks and counter what they feel like Liquid's doing.
So just to reiterate that, if you're looking at, as like probably out of all the analysts, I'm probably the second lowest MMR, something like that. When you look at this third pick, do you go, okay, this is when all of a sudden we start to see where the chips are falling? Is this really that pressure point?
LGD has kind of just said, this is how we're going to approach fights. They've given you a lot of damage, the disengage as well as the engage from your Centaur ultimate, but they haven't really said, this is how we plan to win the game. This is what scales us into the game. All these heroes are kind of enablers to whatever is going to be picked.
And it's cool because you look at the different philosophies where Liquid, they just come out and they 1-2 pick their 1 and their 2.
Yeah.
Psg.Lgd, they're, as you said, setting up the rest of their draft, whereas Liquid's like, look, we know the concept that works. As God said, I really love the point. OG approaches Dota as an art. Liquid, it's a science. They are very, very prepared. They boot camp by far longer than any other team, and it's no surprise they're here.
And also, if we're going to call Liquid scientists, they've definitely been in the lab. They have played so many games on the main stage already, dropping down to that lower portion of the bracket, facing elimination, and just 9-0 to get here. And I actually spoke to Puppy yesterday after he was eliminated, and the first thing that he said was, my team got better in the losers bracket. And I think that that's something that Liquid will be able to bring today.
I love this Mirana pick. I was thinking to myself, I wanted a support that would make my job as a Void easier to get a chrono off. And when you're Mirana Invis, it's just hard for them to ever go on your Void.
Yep. And when you have the superior team fight, it's also important to ensure you have some sort of hero that acquires vision. Mirana, you scout with arrows, sure, but it's more about the Invis. So if you have a terrain or just any sort of engagement that Liquid have more information, there's no save for the chrono right now. There's an arrow follow-up. You're going to be able to 100-0 a target, no problem. You just need to be sure that you are the ones actually initiating the engagement.
Yeah, and it's even nicer with Mirana nowadays because you play it as a 4 for people who haven't been keeping up with the tournament. It's a hero that was first banned almost all throughout the group stage, and as the tournament's gone on, people have been like, okay, well, now we can't really deal with Alchemist anymore. Now that's kind of taking the slot of Mirana, and being able to pick up such a high-value hero in this meta third in the draft, I mean, it synergizes well with the Void as well. The guaranteed setup for arrow. You're going to most likely pair it in lane with something that sets it up. The most popular has been Ogre throughout the tournament, but obviously first round banned.
And I always like to kind of try to take a peek into what we think the game's going to look like. First, let's talk about this gyro.
I like it. I'm a big fan of mixed damage cores when you're playing with an Elder Titan. The Spirit increases magical damage, the Hero, the physical. So late game, you get up close and personal. Doesn't matter if there's BKBs, that Gyro is going to be doing tons of bonus damage thanks to the minus armor. But early mid game, a Spirit, a Rocket, the Gyro Q, the ultimate, it's so much damage.
And typically, especially even if you haven't been following Dota as much this year, I mean, you go back to maybe like the CQ Major, and it was obviously still very popular. When you think of Gyro and IO, they're basically the Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie of Dota, right? This is just a power couple, and you typically did see them together. But when they're separated, they're still pretty dang good, especially here in this meta. We've seen Gyro by itself quite a bit, and IO all of a sudden becoming a core. It definitely has become quite iconic to see both of them by themselves. And when we've been talking about IO even, we're not necessarily thinking about the Gyro.
Yeah. I would love to see something like an Oracle coming out for Liquid. It's really good in laning against Centaur. You can purge the Retaliate buff, and there's so much magic damage. Having a save on a hero like Void or Tiny, I think will make their fights even easier. It doesn't necessarily have to be that exact hero, but I personally would prefer the counter initiation aspect because you have so much reliable damage if you can get it off, that as long as one of your main cores doesn't die right at the start of the fight, I have to envision fights will go in Liquid's favor.
And to Rich's point about like the history going into this game, right? You've got already FY Rubik. You've got Maybe, who beat me like 4 years ago at TI5 with a mid gyro. Ame also exceptional at it, and they're looking to go toe-to-toe with Liquid in the early to mid game. A fourth pick Tinker. They did this the other day.
Yes, they did. The damage in Chrono is almost, it was already there, and now it's really there. Gyros doesn't like to play against heroes that punish you for running in, and Tinker probably on my book is like the #1 on that list.
And you look at it, Gyro is the main source of your damage. The Psg.Lgd lineup, it's all about setting up this hero to do maximum DPS. Liquid, you now have tools. There's no counter to Chrono right now on the Radiant draft, and this is very dangerous because if the game goes late enough, it's child's play. Your Chronosphere the Gyro, you kill him.
Well, that's the big thing that I do want to bring up. You say if the game goes late enough, how long is it going to take for something like this Tinker to really get online?
I don't really think it's going to take that long, to be honest. Once he gets a blink, he's incredibly survivable this game. He is going to have that fragile window where he gets the boots, like before the boots of travel, before the blink comes out, that they have so much gap close with the Centaur that all these heroes can get on top of him. But once he gets it, I don't see how they kill him.
It's less, I think, about killing Tinker, more about trying to take his tier 1s early.
Yeah.
Something the Alliance guy said on panel about this Centaur. You want to play away from him for the initial 8 to 12 minutes of the game. Let him shove waves, let him tank towers, hit them back. If he can kill tier 1s, as the other heroes of Psg.Lgd can rotate around the map, make Wee's life difficult, that's going to be a big edge for them. If you leave Tinker towers to teleport to, it becomes harder and harder to push out lanes and actually take any sort of objectives, which buys so much time for Liquid.
I do want to go back to that Rubik as well. I feel like if you're just hopping in, watching right now, and you've watched TIs, you know that face. I think that this is just one of the most picked heroes at this tournament, period. And by product of that, one of the most winningest heroes that you can lock in. And if it's not broke, you don't need to fix it.
Indeed. And the beauty of it is we've seen him make such incredible plays on this main stage already. The FY Rubik, the game iconic where he stole the Phoenix egg after Supernova to get it off, turn around a big engagement. The Void's gonna have to be very careful because if you don't time dilate after Chronosphere, FY is real quick. He says he's only got 3 to 5 years. He's already been here for 5, and I love.
Shadow Demon is still in the draft 9th pick. This is a hero like, and you have the setup. I even like it almost more than the Oracle. I said I wanted a save, and now it's not only just a save, but like you said, in the early to mid game, it's a nice, reliable, low cooldown setup for the arrow. That hero is one of the most busted heroes in all of Dota, in my opinion. And I guess sometimes when there's just all these heroes going up in value throughout the tournament, these heroes get forgotten.
Yeah, and mind control, right? Oh. There's your Tinker counter right there. All of a sudden, Psg.Lgd, they've got this excellent team fight, and as soon as you get in to the point of the game where Spectre can just go straight for Tinker, they have so much damage, so much vision control. That's a really cool 22 pick by LGD.
If he can get past the early to mid game on Spectre, the Shadow Demon does cause a lot of issues that early on, but if you get past that stage, you are the be-all, end-all counter.
And you can toggle the Radiance too, right?
Absolutely.
So Shadow Demon, you will not be able to steal it. We've seen Ame go multiple different builds. Can go either way, but this is one of the more balanced drafts I've seen so far on the main stage. This is going to be great.
All right, so we're liking what we do see in the draft on both sides, but to really shine a light on how both of these teams can potentially win, we are going to go to one of the glowiest brains in Dota. Purge, what are your last words?
Well, it's an interesting draft on both sides. Both teams got almost exactly what they wanted. On the LGD side, they ran a very similar draft to what they played earlier against OG. It was an Elder Titan-based lineup with lots of magic damage. They opened both supports early, followed with a Centaur. This basically kind of leaves the other team, Liquid, in the dark. But Liquid also got everything they wanted. They opened with the very strong Faceless Void Tiny combo, which seems very broken in the late game, maybe only less broken than the IO carry. hero that was surprisingly ignored in the draft. And then they also followed up with amazing Mirana combos. Mirana with Faceless Void is ridiculously good. The fact that they got Shadow Demon with their last pick was exactly what Liquid wanted. You couldn't design a better draft there. But on the other side, that LGD last pick with the Spectre was so excellent. It's going to give them a hero that can get on top of the Tinker, which is really what they need. Because if Liquid's able to delay the game and keep themselves covered with Chronosphere, it's going to be really easy for them to keep getting their tiny combos. So without further ado, let's hop into the first match of the lower bracket today. Let's send it over to the casters.
Oh, we are so ready for this. I just live to hear balanced draft come out of the drafting panel. Sind, do you feel it too? Do you feel like both teams are in for a chance here in game one?
Well, and on top of all that balance, Purge just sent it to us with, I think, half a second left, so also perfectly balanced there. Maybe it's just a balanced day. The suits are balanced among the hosts. Like, everything is just the way it's supposed to be. And yeah, I agree, though. This draft is great. I actually thought LGD were kind of in trouble until this last pick Spectre. And if this would have been banned out by Liquid, I'm wondering where LGD would have gone with this, because we've seen Liquid play this lineup with the Tinker Void. If you can't take towers and put pressure early, they hit this mid-late game timing where their team fights are ridiculous and you're constantly struggling with your waves. But Spectre fulfills multiple roles in this game. It can get on top of the Tinker. It can outscale LGD or Liquid's heroes as well. And they have both the Spectre and the Gyro to go into the late game.
Kuro's going to say no in the mid. The arrow's going to fly forward. Perfect stun. We're already beginning our lower bracket final right here with a max stun duration. Chalice will go down. Weeha is able to laser him. The crowd's starting to get behind LGD as they brought 4 heroes towards the mid, but Liquid, they were waiting for the retaliate stacks to be built up, and they answer him back.
Silver lining for Chalice, now he has 13 of them, because they were killing him. So at least he has max stacks when he goes into lane. But yeah, that's a good start for Liquid here. Getting the first blood on Weeha, especially great. Being able to have that head start in the mid lane against Gyro, which already should be a Tinker favored matchup, I think, at least by a bit. So now he might be able to even dominate against Somnus. Bounty runes, 2 for 2.
Yep, and it also means too that Team Liquid, they're able to move their lanes around, but they're going to run Miracle as this Faceless Void on the off lane, working with the SD and Mirana combination. The panel was saying very, very simple. They can transfer this anywhere they need to, but it means that, LGD had to be a little bit careful. They still took a lot to get through Chalice, so he's heading towards the safe lane for LGD. So it won't be the easiest kill on the safe laner. But this now allows LGD to push Arme into the offlane, harassing Mind Control down, who is nowhere near as survivable as the safe lane Centaur, especially when ET is keeping the Spirit right on top of Mind Control. Feeling the pressure hard.
Well, Chalice.
Here we go again.
Walk out.
Disruption. Arrow, perfect long time stun. DP support's coming in from X-Nova, but how much can he really do to help out? Chalice taking so much damage. Miracle in his body, block him up with the illusions of Kuro, even while he's being harassed by X-Nova. And Liquid go 2 on the board. Chalice died both times. But hey, still 13 retaliate.
Well, he's actually going to walk top. He's not even TPing to get to the tower.
Are they thinking that Liquid will change the lanes on him, or?
Maybe he's keeping his options open, and also just since the wave is not accessible right now anyway, he would only probably be getting deny experience. So maybe it feels like it's not worth it. He's going to walk up here, and it gives them a bit more rotation potential since they already TP'd X-Nova top. If they also TP Chalice, Liquid can basically do whatever they want with the lanes. So they're keeping it safe in case of adjustments.
Up how Kuro is now chasing the Spirit. It's like, I know where he's going to be. Mirana, stay with me. Centaur's going to come as well. Disruption up on top. Somnus, yeah, he's going after Weeha. The arrow is tanked up by Chalice up on the top lane, so X-Nova protected by that Centaur.
Somnus really wants to go for the kill. He put in a lot of damage into Weeha. He's going to homing missile him now. He could just dive him here. I think Weeha's dead.
Yeah, he's got second level Rocket Barrage. Weeha's going to... Oh, he tried to Fairy Fire, but it will not be enough. Somnus brings him down and really underestimates the damage from the Gyro.
That's so big for Somnus too. He's playing against a hero who got first blood. It's innately unfavorable to start off this lane, but now he's ahead.
This just never ends. The easiest combination of Liquid's life. They'll take Chalice once again, but we're starting to reach the point of diminishing returns. He's 0 for 3 on this Centaur, not a single CS, 2.5 minutes in, and this time he TPs out to the lane.
Yeah, because this time there's immediate experience in the tower, and they're pulling with Elder Titan. When you're playing an aggro tri-lane kill lane like this, you need to get multiple kills to make it worth it. because you are sharing the experience among 3 heroes, and in the meantime, this bottom lane Spectre is having a good time together with Rubik. But now they've swapped it around. They don't want to stay as 3 anymore. I think this is a good time to swap things out for Liquid. But it also means that now Chalice will have a very easy time. Shadow Demon Void, what are they going to do to you as Centaur? You're just going to free farm now in this lane.
Yeah,
but they slowed him down.
Without the Mirana arrow stun, there really isn't that much you can do against him, but they needed to bring something down here. Arme was just getting free farm. And FY, always a dangerous thing. FY's Rubik is just, it's insane without farm. It's incredible with farm. I don't know if that's really an upgrade in descriptive words.
I was about to say.
But it's just cool, anyway.
It's cool with any farm.
Yeah.
Mind Control taking some big damage bottom. He has no regen left. GH can give him a tango, but Mind Control will either die or need to use the courier in the long run down here, so they can keep harassing him out, especially when FY finds level 3 soon. The big increase in damage on Fade Bolt ramping up. And Mind Control is hoping to find a rune with the bottle that he wants to purchase at minute 4, but Ami's not going to let him get the rune.
No, the Weeha's moved over and Arme.
2 heroes that want the rune, but actually Mind Control probably wouldn't have taken it regardless. He just wanted to buy his bottle. Let Weeha have the rune, but there's no rune.
Yep.
It's a double damage.
Yeah, Gyrocopter grabbed that one from top river. Mind Control still ready to find on bottom. It's not the biggest combination. It's a level 2 on the tree throw. The arrow is able to connect over on Arme. So some chip damage, but you've still got Arme with 6 stick charges and the healing salve. Even if you feel like you're getting a lot of damage in, this is still a Spectre.
Yeah, they're not killing in this lane without an extra hero coming in. He's going to use his 10 sticks just to be able to build up more, get full value out of these sticks already.
Stuns coming out on top lane. Kuro getting a couple lot of damage. Charles with the great hooks off X-Nova's got that plus 43 damage. And the captain of Team Liquid, Barry fires up, tries to make a break towards the tree line, but it won't work. Turns instead for the catcher to actually help out Miracle. If you get a couple more bashes, Chalice may be in trouble, but all this is happening while the 5-minute rune's going on, and Mind Control dies down on the bottom lane. FY and Arme comboing together.
Oh, and LGD are going to get 4 runes too, Toby. This is a huge win for them. All 4 runes, Chalice survived, and they got 2 kills. LGD just came back in this game in a big way. Came back, it's like they were behind. I mean, just even, but they took a lead, rather.
Yeah, it was about 800 was the net worth, 5 minutes in, that Liquid was able to ensure, but yeah, with the kill and the runes, it swings the way of LGD, same for the experience.
Currently 4 wards on the courier for LGD, flying out. Might drop them on FY here and let him make a little bit of a movement with smoke. They're not going to smoke. Maybe yes, maybe no. Nope, not smoking.
I was actually wondering about the movement from LGD. Like, how confident are you that you don't need to really stay on top of Weeha? He's been pulling back. Like, he had 1 stack that he was able to farm up. They're now prepping another set for him, but Weeha, we saw what he did yesterday. It was global presence, an uncatchable global presence.
In this game, it's catchable.
Look at him go. Gyro is just moving over. It's like, wait, I'm fairly certain there was meant to be a Tinker here, but Tinker's moved back to the mid lane.
Good defensive ward from Kuro, placed there on the around the top rune. So they do realize the movement's coming and they back out. But Somnus still has haste for a little bit. Okay, I thought he was maybe even thinking about diving, but he's gonna try to get denies. We'll get a couple by the looks of it.
Means Kuro's going to protect the stacks now, keeping the ET away, and puts a 1-1 lane up on top.
But yeah, I'm not sure how much you have to invade the Tinker here. You don't want to give him complete free farm, but considering he's already been solo killed by maybe mid, we've already slowed him down that good amount. And if you let him farm some jungle, in comparison to the game we saw from him yesterday on Tinker, this time he has just flat out has a worse matchup. Spectre is one of the classic hard counters to Tinker. Can always find him and get on top of him. And if Spectre finds Tinker, you can follow up. That's the whole power of this lineup. You have Stampede to get heroes in range. You have the Elder Titan Spirit that can get on top of Tinker as well and stomp him. Just plenty of problems this game for Weeha, even if he has a good game.
Great vision being planted down by Kuro. You said defensive ward that was able to protect the Tinker from being ganked up by the Somnus rotation. Now his observed ward watches FY coming to the mid. It won't see the smoke of X-Nova as well as Somnus, as once again they move in.
Don't want to get Miracle. Stampede is coming online. This is the perfect timing for this move. And they're also going to use the opportunity to place a deep lane ward top, but it looks like Miracle realizes something's fishy here.
GH is coming around the back lines. Miracle has Chronosphere available. X-Nova, but on the wrong side of the tracks. The arrow will connect. Miracle just needs a couple of hits. And down goes X-Nova. They back out of the fight. Somnus is already back over in mid lane, where FY is trying to get his level 6.
They're probably going to be anticipating that some vision must have been placed by LGD here when they smoke the ET and the gyro in together, but they have no idea which ward it is. There's multiple pings coming out from Liquid. Is it this one? Is it this one? They might check the real one last.
They're going top. Invis room from Somnus wants to go to work. Miracle just time walks himself away. Somnus will see this, but coming into the tier 1 tower isn't something they want to do. As Weeha can now finally take these stacks with Rearm and a level 3 March the Machines. To start to move his net worth up the field. He was the only... Oh, geez, there's 3 heroes above 3k, and he wants to join them, just able to do so.
And Liquid are going to give Kuro some space mid, and FY is going to take space from LGD. Both supports looking to get these levels. And this is the danger when you play these tri-lanes in the start, even if it was only for 3 or 4 minutes. Kuro is level 3 minute 9. GH is level 5.5, so that's good. But on LGD's side, it's kind of similar. X-Nova has mainly